When we turned in our materials to the university and came back to California, coming back to California, since we incorporated in Colorado, I had a corporation when I got back here. So when I got back here and went back into radio, we had Freeform Media Productions. Well, since I was Freeform Media Productions and back in California, I wanted to expand the company. I put in a business plan for $1.5 million. It was put together by Doyle Bain and Burbank and DDB&O or DB&O, whatever it is, in San Francisco, a real business plan for $1.5 million because I wanted to do a production company. We had the same thing that all the production companies in ABC and all had, because when they put it together, I told them, I want you to put this together as a media company the same as the conventional commercial media companies, which means that we would need to have access to planes, we would need to have mobile vans, we would need to have that type of business plan. Not looking for the money, I'm looking for the business plan. Okay? So our business plan, when it was put together at that time, was $1.5 million. Well, coming back to California, I hadn't had a job. I did have the corporation, and I wanted to get established into media. Mike Curb was elected lieutenant governor of California at that time. Mike Curb was a big name in the music industry out here. So that's when I switched from Democrat to Republican, because it was to my benefit to be a black in the Republican Party that didn't have many, especially when Mike Curb, the lieutenant governor, is in the music industry.
Right.
You know, so that's how I got involved with the Republican Party, and Bob Keyes was another black Republican. We thought we thought, well, they need us. We might as well get what we can get out of here since they need us. You know, but the others, I mean, we had those black, Clarence Thomas. Ugh. You know, we had blacks like him. The Mexicans call them Tio Tacos, Uncle Toms. You know, those were the blacks in the Republican Party. I mean, what is it, Kanye West or whatever his name is now? Same type thing, you know, sucking up to the man. And it's just ridiculous, but that's what was the blacks in the Republican Party. And they would sit up on the front line with them when I was in the convention, covering the convention as a Y rep, a young Republican Y rep, you know, covering the convention in one of the states down south. It might have been Marina Del Rey or someplace. No, it was further south than that. It was down around San Diego. And I was covering the convention. I remember being up with the rest of the press, looking down, you know, in the gallery, watching the people. And this woman was talking about not immigration, not wanting to let the Mexicans. If we let the Mexicans in, they're just going to be like the niggers. We're going to have too many. And I'm sitting up here, and all, you know, nobody looked up here until they saw there was a black reporter standing in the back of the room, and you could hear a pin drop. Pop. You know. So anyway, they found out I was Republican, so it was all right. He's one of us. He's a good nigga. You know, right. You're right. There should have been a lot more of B. Yeah. But anyway, they found out that I was a good nigger, so it was all right. You know, I've had to swallow a lot just to be black, just to exist in a white world. You know, and not show your truth. Don't run up to Jolly Roger. You know, not necessarily play along, but don't run up to Jolly Roger. Don't shake the boat. You can disagree, just don't rock the boat. Yeah. Well, that's pretty much that story. That's how we got back to California. Getting back to California, that's how I got involved in the Republican Party. And that's how, when I was in the Republican Party, I worked on the black desk for the Ford Dole presidency as a corporate representative for Freeform Media. Now, at that same time, since I was doing press, I wanted to get the other side, not just the Republican side. So I went as a press person, not as a Republican, Democrat, but as a press person to Atlanta to cover the Carter side of the presidency, because I had the Republican side. The unbalance was Carter won, and I happened to be covering his side when he won. So now I'm in the same hotel on the 17th floor. Carter's headquarters are on the first floor. You know? So when Carter gets elected president, I go downstairs and they're taking all the pictures of all the people. Somewhere in some of them pictures, you'll find me because I was there. Not doing anything, but just in the crowd, right? I know I'm there because they took the pictures. I don't know if they published them or not, but they took the pictures. So, okay. After that incident, coming back to California, I wanted to purchase a motel. There was a motel in Santa Cruz that I wanted to purchase, the La Bahia. It was a historic landmark. It was there for I don't know how many years. You could change the hotel, but you couldn't change the facade. You had to keep that facade. And I have $1.5 million business plan, memorandums of understanding. And what do they tell me now? Well, okay, you got everything that you need, and we're developing MBDAs to take care of people. MBDA is Minority Business Development Agency. You give me all this, now I got to wait for you to develop an MBDA. In the meantime, I got a marriage that's going to hell. You know, I can't do nothing. And I'm getting angrier and angrier. It's just ain't working. But that's the experiences. We wanted to purchase that motel because the motel would have been ideal because when we were in Santa Cruz, we didn't show you, but the beach boardwalk was right across the street. We're here. The beach boardwalk was right over there. And they had this big, huge ballroom auditorium that we could put our acts in, video them there, house them in the hotel. And at that time, I wanted the hotel to be a Christian hotel because the Christian market was big, and there was no place. If you just said a Christian hotel, you got that clientele coming to your hotel because there's no hotel that says a Christian hotel, right? So we told them that. Lo and behold, there's another Christian hotel pops up, but it's not us. And they ain't going to sell us this because they're going to sell it to the city. And besides, you on welfare. Well, of course I'm on welfare because when I came back, I just go, look, this is supposed to be a bridge between where I am and where I want to get to. So I'm going to take your welfare, but I'm not going to be happy with it. There was a constant fight with the welfare department over laws and rights. And I did that. And as a result of having been in the civil rights movement and doing other things, I wound up as a commissioner for the city of Santa Cruz for 20 years on the Affirmative Action Commission, which later became the EOC, the Equal Opportunities Employment, EEOC, Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. So for 20 years, I was a commissioner for the city of Santa Cruz on those commissions. You know, this is all coming out of the civil rights movement. Then this time I'm married and I got a couple of kids. Well, I'm not really married. I'm with Barbara because Marilyn wanted to go and stay in the movement, and Barbara said, I'll take her place, sort of, and help you with the kids. And in the process of helping with the kids, we had our own kids. Now we're a family. And now as this family, we're together for like 20-some years. So that takes us. And during that time, when I left out of the civil rights movement, I had several different jobs. I drove a bus. I drove an old bus. I always wanted to be able to, when I was a kid, I remember being in my grandmother's house in the closet back up in the country, and they had the upstairs, the attic, how the stairs went to the attic. There was a door here that you went in and go up to the attic. I would open and close the door like my bus driver would do, right? And I sit here, and the steps was by passengers. And I got a chance to drive a bus. I got a chance to drive all the buses that I rode on. These big old, like the ones you see on the railroad out there. I got to drive that. And I go, all right, man. And I was driving for the Pope when the Pope was not driving for the Pope, but the company. When the Pope was here, all the bus companies were chartered, to carry people to the Laguna de Seco. That's the racetrack where he met Laguna de Seco. And every bus company, you could get a bus and you could load it with people. So I was working for West Valley Charter, and I got to drive one of those little buses that you push the door open and they go clank, clank, Normally you drive these big tour buses, like the ones you see in San Francisco and all over. Well, the ones we had were called buffaloes. They was like the hump like that. Instead of being just straight across, streamlined straight across and down. These were the first buses. They were called the buffaloes. You see one of them out there like on the railroad, little hump like that. 4105s, 4106s, 41. I drove the 4107s and the 4108s, and I drove that for a route bus like from Santa Cruz, Los Gatos, San Jose, Fremont, Hayward, San Leandro, Oakland, connected with Greyhound in Oakland. This is your peerless stage driver, there we go. So I did that. Also drove for the forest fires. West Valley had a contract to drive firefighters. And we went down and picked up the Army in Fort Ord. A 20-bus convoy picked up the Army and took them to the Shasta Forest, the Shasta Trinity fires. They needed extra help. So we went to Fort Ord. It was a 20-bus convoy. Man, that was neat. 20 buses going down the road. And we were the lead bus. And I always get to be these leaders. Anyway, the officer got on our bus and says, don't worry about tickets. Get us to the fire. It's just as fast as you can drive safely. Don't worry about the speed limit. Get us to the fire. So the speed limit was like 65. We're doing 70, 75, 75, 80. As much as your bus will do. As much as your bus will do. And they gave us the best buses they had. And we stopped at Petticoat Junction. Petticoat Junction was one of the stops where it was like Pantyhose Junction. Petticoat Junction was a TV movie where they all went to the little train and thing like that. We stopped at a place called Pantyhose Junction. They called it Pantyhose Junction because all the waitresses wore pantyhose, shorts, things like that. It was a big major truck stop. Pantyhose Junction. Everybody, I'll meet you at Pantyhose. We're going to panties. So we stopped there with 20 buses of people. Just rolling down. I've had some great adventures in my life, huh? I've had some bad ones. I've had some good ones. I've had some fun ones. We can stop here and pick up. Where we are now is that I'm beginning to get into the music career again. Los Angeles, gone through the system, gone through the war, came back home, done the civil rights movement, went through the civil rights movement, done Wounded Knee, went to the American Indian movement, done Cesar Chavez, did all of that. And now I'm getting up in age, I got kids, and it's sort of time to settle down. So I wanted to settle down with something that was going to produce steady income and then have an impact on what was happening. So that's why I put together Freeform Media. Like recently, instead of Freeform Media, I now just incorporated another corporation, Free Forum, Forum Media. Well, number one, because the past is the past. I'm done with it. I mean, it's what I did, but it's done. And now I went to Stanford, coming back, just long story short, my kids saw a production somewhere when I was at the UC Santa Cruz. Bro, go, Dad, did you used to do that club? And I go, yeah, but I ain't going over there now, man, because in the ghetto, I want tires on my car when I come out. He goes, well, they're the producer so-and-so. So I called the producer and told her that, my past, I was Fillmore Slim was playing. I go, I know him, but tell him I said hi. And she asked me if I knew the people at Stanford, the announcer at Stanford that interviewed people. And I told her no, so she called him up like Willie called you. She called him up and said, I got this guy, you need to interview him. So he interviewed me, and we talked about some of the things we talked about, only the music side, the James Cotton, the Muddy Waters, the Buddy Guy, the Junior Wells, all these people when I was running with Cotton. That's the Chicago blues side of the radio side of our life. And we're getting into that now because the civil rights side is over.